Hi Martin, thank you for speaking to us. First off, let's start off with some team news. Any injury concerns or absences for us to be aware of?
No, everyone has trained today, just the long-term absences still. Everyone trained fully today, and I just wait for an assessment off the medical staff, and then we can look forward to tomorrow.
It's been a fantastic start to the season for you, of course, and you're heading into this North London derby level on points with Arsenal and actually having managed more domestic wins than them this season. For you, how are you approaching your first competitive North London derby? Emphasis, of course, on the competitive.
It's a new experience for me. Not a new experience for most of the players, maybe for a few of them. Really excited. Players are energetic, ready to respond in the right way after a disappointing game last weekend. We're in a good place. We train well. The players have trained extremely well. The energy's good. So I'm excited.
You mentioned last weekend, of course, and all your defeats this season have come to teams in the top half of the table. And of course, when you look at the history with Arsenal, Spurs have only managed to beat them once in the WSL before. But you did beat them in a pre-season friendly. So how do you make sure your players channel that energy rather than feeling that the history of this derby is against them?
You can't control what's in the past. We have to control what we can, and that's in front of us. That's our performance going into the weekend, our mentality going into that game. We have to play the game and not the occasion. I know that's obviously a big thing for the supporters, and we'll make sure that we do everything we can to make sure we put in a good performance for them. But we have to take away the emotion from the game and focus on what we can control.
Now, away from the game, I want to ask you about reports in Norway that Sinja Gorpset could soon be a Spurs player. Of course, she's currently playing your former club, Brann. What can you tell us about that?
There's going to be a lot of rumours, and Signa's a Brann player. As I've said before, I won't, out of respect for Signa, for Brann, I won't speak about players that are not here, not signed with us. Whatever she decides to do next, I wish her the best of luck. She's a wonderful talent, and whatever she does next, I wish her the best of luck.
And finally, of course, you've been in and out of the Champions League spots this season. A win this weekend could take you back into them. Are you looking at those Champions League spots and thinking that's something I can do this season with Spurs?
I haven't come here just to take part. As I said, I want to make sure I can progress this team and help us achieve our ambitions. We know that's obviously a big ask to go into that top three, because it's a small group that go in the Champions League, but I believe if we get things right, we can. But over the course of a season, you need a really consistent level, individually and collectively, to be able to get into that top three, and we have to make sure we show that more now. But we keep ourselves in around that top three is the most important part now till we get to the Christmas break.
Thanks, Martin. Best of luck this
Thank
weekend.
you.
Thanks, Uma. We'll move to questions on the online feed. Emma Sanders.
Hey Martin, nice to see you.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. I just want to follow up on the fact that it's obviously your first North London derby. Was it the first fixture that you looked at when you took on the job?
No, do you know what? It actually wasn't. I actually just take every game as it comes, Emma. There's a lot for obviously the fans to look at for those big games they enjoy, like this one on the weekend. And the players maybe have certain ones they look to, but no, I just look at the fixtures as they come. Every game I know in this league's competitive and it's tough. The league now is at a totally different level to where it was before when I was here. So this fixture obviously is new to me. It's a new experience. I get a good feeling for that now because you see how many tickets we've sold for the game. So obviously the fans are coming out, which we respect, and we thank a lot for coming out in numbers. I don't look to any fixture. I just take everyone as it comes.
What is the latest on the ticket sales?
I'm not too sure. So it's the most. I was just trying to get an accurate number, but Curtis didn't have the stats. I think it's the most we've definitely sold at Brisbane Road. I think it'll be by a long way. I think from what I'd heard the other day, it was upwards of 7,000. So that's a lot, obviously, of tickets sold, which I think is brilliant from the club. It's amazing from the supporters to do that and come out and support the team. And hopefully we put a big performance in for them on the weekend.
Yeah, great stuff. You mentioned the disappointment of the London City result, and actually when you look at it on paper statistically, I know that's not how football played, but you created more chances and probably had more goal scoring opportunities. So in that sense, was that kind of a disappointment that you weren't as clinical in that department? And I suppose against Arsenal, you'll have to be, right? Yeah,
100%. And I like your analytics there, Emma, by the way. It helps me. That's something I said after the game. I thought with the ball, we were very good. We It was a high XG. We created a lot of chances. We maybe lacked cutting edge a little bit in terms of final action at times, 100%. But I think it was the most I've seen us in terms of the bravery, the connection and the link-up play was good. We just maybe lacked a little bit in moments to be a little bit more instinctive. But I would say there was a lot of positives to take in that phase. But the other part, we have to make sure we're better at, and if we don't do that part better, the defending side, and we're not more decisive in those moments defensively, we'll be punished. But at the other end, we have to be more ruthless, and we've got to start putting the ball in the net more consistently.
And just finally on Arsenal, obviously, they've had a bit of a difficult start to the season in terms of the results. Already playing catch up a little bit in the title race. Obviously, a defeat in Europe as well this week. So, are they vulnerable at the moment? Is that an opportunity for Spurs?
No, you're just trying to get something out of me. No, I think no team like that. They've got wonderful players. René's a wonderful manager. They're the champions of Europe. They were in a good position in the Champions League the other day. And one defeat, as I said before about ourselves, one defeat don't make you a bad team. Are they vulnerable? No, I wouldn't say they're vulnerable because they probably want to respond. Like the same with us from the game on the weekend. We had a disappointing performance and you want to respond. So hopefully it's fire going against fire and it makes for a good game.
Nice one. Thanks, Marty.
Thank you. Good to see you. Take care.
Chris Cowling.
Hi, Martin. How's your week been and preparation for this game?
It's been good. I'll start on Monday. Monday was really good. I'm only joking. No, it's been brilliant. Yeah, it's been a good week. We've trained really well. The players have been really good. There's good energy around the group. We reflected on the performance. We know what we need to do better. And now we look forward to the game on the weekend.
Martin, you touched on this already, but I want to talk about, from the fans' point of view, this game is absolutely huge to the fans. When you come into a club like Spurs, does someone actually pull you to one side and say, this game is so important? No,
I know how important it is. You get a feel for that when you're just an external, when you're watching this type of game. You know how competitive it is. You know how much it means to supporters. I know what it means from a men's side, from a rivalry. I'm very well aware that it's an important game, and the same in pre-season. I made the players aware that was an important game in pre-season too, because no matter if it's a friendly or not, you want to make sure you show your best. And I know we're in for a good game on the weekend, and we need to make sure that we perform.
You must be absolutely delighted that the Spurs women have got 5 wins in the WSL in November, because of course the Spurs women only managed 5 wins in the entire season last year. You must be very pleased with where the squad is at right now. And how confident are you that the results can be consistent so you can fight for those Champions League spots?
No, I agree. In terms of the 5 wins, I think if you look at it from statistically from where we was last year, we're better off in a lot of departments. We're rebuilding a team in terms to make sure that they've got the confidence again, the belief again as a team. We're changing the identity to something that really resonates with the supporters and the club. And to be in a position with 15 points now, I don't know how many of you would have sat on the call now and said, okay, well, you're going to have 15 points, 8 or 9 games in, and you're moving forward, your playing style's changing, you're showing more energy, you're showing more passion. You've now sold 7,000 plus tickets at Brisbane Road for a derby, and I think we've took big steps. I'm confident we can push the top, yes, but you need consistency, and consistency is a really hard thing to get all the time. And when you do get it, you have to run with it, and we've had that in our performances so far. We've got to make sure now we can find that again after that London City defeat, and make sure we put a performance in now, and what an opportunity to do it on the weekend.
I suppose, Martin, with that crowd keep growing, I suppose you just need to keep winning.
Yeah, of course, that's the easy part, isn't it, Chris? You sure? I just have to keep winning, and hopefully the crowds will keep building. But no, I'm really happy where the team's at. We've got a lot of work to do, and I think it's hard I get it from supporters' perspective, from media perspective. Everyone wants more, and everyone expects you to win every week. And there's probably no one more than me who doesn't want to win. I'd hate losing, and I'm probably a big sore loser for doing that. But actually, I think where we are now and the steps we've taken, I think we've took big steps. If you step back and look at it properly, which I have to sometimes myself, we've took big steps from where we were at. And if you look from where the team was to where it is now, it's big progress. And I think if fans stick with us, everyone sticks with us, I think we can do big things here in the coming future now.
As you just said there, and lastly, of course the Spurs women have come a long way under your leadership in a short amount of time. But in terms of squads, Arsenal and Spurs right now, how far away are Spurs away from being, a team like Arsenal in terms of quality and the depth?
I'll throw it back at you. Where do you think is that?
Well, I'm asking you.
No, of course. I think we've got work to do in terms of where we want to be. Where playing style, identity, DNA, we've got lots of work to do to be where we want to be. Arsenal have built that over a long period of time, and it takes time to build that. They didn't just win the Champions League as a one-off. It took them so long to do that. They didn't win the league just off a few years. It takes a long time, and we know we've got a good squad here. They've got a good squad. We need to make sure that we add players to the squad to make us better. We have to do that. We have to make sure we add depth to the squad to make sure we be more competitive, but actually more sustainable in more competitions. You don't want to just compete just for a league. And your squad determines that. Your squad depth determines if you can compete in all competitions. So, yeah, we have work to do in the squad depth, but we have to make sure that with the squad now, we make sure we keep pushing, and they've done wonderful things here, the team, now while I've been here.
That's exactly what I would have said. Good luck.
Thanks, Chris. We'll go to Charlotte.
Yeah, how you doing? You've talked a lot about the crowds and stuff. Are you a bit disappointed this isn't being played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
No, wherever it gets played, Charlotte, it's going to be an intense game. It's going to be lively. There's going to be opportunity for us. No doubt there'll be opportunity for us to play games there. But yeah, wherever the game's played, it's huge. It's a big competition. It's a big derby. It's a big rivalry, and we could play it in this press conference room here, and it'd still be the same energy. So yeah, no matter where it's played, it's going to be a good contest.
And actually, do you think maybe that smaller, intense ground might actually help the team instead of a more expansive, big stadium? I mean, I remember watching North London Derby when the Spurs used to play at the Hive, and the Spurs pushed Arsenal all the way then. Could we see the same thing in a smaller, more compact setting?
Yeah, of course. I think we could in your own surroundings, more familiar surroundings. It can have a big positive effect. 100%, it can. We know exactly what the feel is at Brisbane Road. We have a really good start of the season at Brisbane Road up to now, and we have to make sure we continue that. We have to make that place a fortress for people to come to. We have to make it difficult for people when they come there, and we've done that so far this season. We've had a good record there. We've performed well there, and I want to make sure we continue that come the weekend.
And in terms of selection, obviously you started with Tinker last weekend, and Beth came on, and actually Martha came on before Beth. What's your thinking in the way you're going to set up the attacking lineup in particular? Yeah,
it's more and I will never go into any game just selecting a player for the sake of selecting a player. I think a lot about it analytically. You have to think strategically also, but you never finish the game with the 11 that started. So you have to also think about when you're into a game, how do I think the game's going to play, and what you're going to need in certain moments. And the game on the weekend suited for Katinka the profile we wanted. I thought she played really well. She held the ball up well. She linked play well. She obviously got the penalty. They got the penalty and she scored. And Beth the week before done the same. She got the winning goal against Liverpool, and both of them are competing against one another really well. And we need to understand that there's two really solid profiles there that actually add a lot of value to this team, and they're two totally different players as much as people don't think, with the skill set they have. And whatever the game suits them, and whatever kind of game plan we go with, I make sure I put the best players out for that game. And there's now more competition in the squad, and it's starting to get more competitive. So yeah, whatever the game presents for us on the weekend, what we feel we need to go with, we'll make that decision come tomorrow.
Do you think that the pair of them are enjoying sort of battling it out to start the game, even though Beth's the club captain? Yeah,
I've got that. And Beth's probably one of the biggest competitors I've worked with. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She wants to be number one. She always wants to play. She always wants to start, like every player does. I don't think there's any player who doesn't want to start a game and play 90 minutes or be from the start of the game. But I think they all understand and respect that there's competition in the team, and there's players performing in those positions. And once the game presents itself, and the players know that actually decisions we're making are based on tactical. It's a little bit different if you're making a decision based on effort, work rate, hard work. I'm making decisions on tactical because I know all those things are there. So yeah, the players know there's competition. I make sure they embrace that, and we do a lot of work on that. That the players understand that you need to be at your A game as much as you can throughout the week and the 4 sessions we have, to make sure that when it comes to the weekend, then we put the game plan out, you're ready to go.
Cheers. Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Dakota? I think you're on mute, Dakota. I think you're still on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we've got you.
I just wanted to go back to speaking about being at Brisbane Road a bit, but I was just thinking, as a manager, do you think it's better in the long term to make sure Tottenham have got a regular big crowd at Brisbane Road, or as a manager, would you maybe prefer to have more regular games at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and build from there, similar to how Arsenal have moved to the Emirates permanently?
Yeah, I think you, as a manager, you want to. I'll play wherever we need to play. Whatever's going to enable the players to perform, and most time it's a grass pitch and 2 goals, and if that's small, big, if that's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, if that's Brisbane Road, whatever that is, we need to just embrace what we can control, and that's our performances. And whether we play there or not, you'd like to think in the long run, which I know this club has big ambitions to do, that the women's team will have a forefront at that stadium. But we have to make sure now that we control what we control, and we're at Brisbane Road, and we have to focus on delivering there.
Thank you. And then my other question was, given that Tottenham are a bit closer to Arsenal in the league this season than maybe you're expecting, do you feel an extra sense of pressure to get a result this weekend, or they are just taking every game as it comes?
Yeah, no, I don't take it in the right way. Do I feel pressure sometimes? Yeah, I do it a lot of times. I feel pressure, but I feel not pressure because we're in and around the rival. I feel the way we performed and the results we've had have put us in that position. So I think it's a reward for the players' hard work that they're in this position. But I don't feel any other pressure going into this game. We control again, as I said, what we can control, and that's how we perform and the way we go about our business. And we'll do that come the weekend.
That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alia?
Hello Martin, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Thinking about this, after the 2 defeats so far this season, the team has then gone on to win the next fixture. How have you been able to build, obviously, these results, they either knock or increase the confidence of these players? How have you been able to build the resilience to do this, and how confident are you that the ladies can repeat this pattern on Sunday, perhaps their most important fixture this season?
Yeah, the players have to. I can give them some guidance and some support, and maybe an environment where they can build that kind of confidence and belief in themselves to perform. But they do a lot of the work. I just give them the environment to do that. I think it's taken a little bit of time for us to do that, and I'd understand with the situation and how it played out last year. But now we're in a totally different space, and I try not to look back at that. I want to make sure we focus on what we're doing going forward. We're in a really good space psychologically. We're in a good place as a team. We've took big steps, as I said, and we want to continue to take them and keep building what we're doing. And come the weekend, it's not an isolated fixture for me. Maybe for the extent it is. And I understand from a fan perspective, and we make sure that we are competitive, and I will make sure the team are ready to do that. And I understand the magnitude of the game, but actually we don't just isolate it, and it doesn't define our season. What defines us is how we're going to perform the weekend.
Yeah. In terms of Lisa, we saw Lisa receive a rather nasty-looking injury last weekend in what would have been also a very frustrating defeat for her. Has that caused any setbacks for her in preparation for this weekend? No,
Lisa's fine. She had a bit of a bump. She's been well looked after by the club and so on. And she's been in training this week, and she's available for selection.
Yeah, and looking back to our first defeat of the season against Man City, the next game was obviously that win on penalties against Aston Villa, where Lisa particularly did very well. Also playing against her main competitor, the Netherlands, in Daphne van Dolsma. Are these factors together, will they be extra motivation for her to perform well and get a clean sheet? Yeah, I think she has good competition in Daphne, and Lisa can only control her own performances and focus on herself, and I know she will, and she's done exceptionally well for us as a team. She's made numerous big saves, if that's penalty shootout, if that's during game, and she's enabled us to have some really good clean sheets along the way. And our national team, she will compete it out with whoever's around her, and I think over the last international camp she done really well, and the staff were really happy with her on that camp. So Lisa just needs to focus on her performances. If she does that, the rest will look after itself. Yeah, and both Spurs and Arsenal have received new managers recently. Obviously, Renee Steadler's joining
Arsenal last season and you joined Spurs this season. Historically, Arsenal have always been expected to easily win the fixture, but this season it perhaps seems a lot more wide open for either side to push for the win. Do you think these changes in management have been the main factor in bridging the gap between the two?
I wouldn't say me and Renee have obviously different coaches. She's obviously done exceptionally well there. I think she's performed really well in terms of what she's brought to Arsenal, and she wins the Champions League, and deservedly so. I thought they were outstanding in that competition. And I've tried to come in here and put my own imprint on Tottenham, as well as really ingrain a very clear identity that resonates very closely with the club. And I think both of us I've just tried to do what we'd normally do as a coach and try and make the team win and be competitive. And actually, I think both of us have started to do that in our tenure so far. And yeah, myself and Renee will just continue to work away. But when we play each other, I hope I win. And when she plays against us, she hopes she wins. So yeah, let's see how we go the weekend.
Yeah, and just finally for me, last season Spurs suffered heavy defeats to Arsenal, but pre-season saw them win away for their first time. Does that sort of give you and your players more confidence, and how much do you think the team has evolved since pre-season? Yeah, we've evolved a lot. I think it doesn't count for anything in pre-season. It just showed me the level of performance we can produce when we want to, when we're at a high level against top teams. But we know we've got to deliver that performance and more come the weekend, because Arsenal are a different team now. They're fresher. They're coming off the back of a defeat to Bayern Munich, so they'll want to respond. And also they've changed a lot of the way they do things in terms of tactically on the pitch. So yeah, it's going to be a totally different game to pre-season, and the players can take some belief and confidence that we can compete at that level 100% and have that motivation going into the game. But we need to bring that and tenfold more to be competitive on the weekend. Thanks, Martin.
Thank you.
Okay, we're running low on time. Please keep it to 2 questions each. For the rest, please, we'll go to Charlie.
Hi Martin, don't worry, I've only got one question. How are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Oh, no, I've got 2 questions. Good, thanks. Yeah, so I guess you've spoken a lot about building and playing with a clear identity.
Yep.
It's that classic one, isn't it? How do you kind of strike that balance in a big game like Sundays, where you might be tempted to maybe try something different to essentially stop Arsenal?
Yeah, I think that I will always have our focus on us first, Charlie, in terms of how we want to approach the game and how we will apply ourselves on the game in both phases. Making sure that we understand what we need to do and what we need to be good at. Having an eye on Arsenal, of course, because they're a wonderful team, but we have to make sure that we can apply ourselves correctly, and you don't turn too much attention just to the opposition, because you'll forget yourself. And I'm really big on that from a managerial perspective.
Great, thanks very much. Good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. And Jamie.
Hi Martin, how are you doing? Well, I just have a few questions about the start of the season. It's obviously been a very good start. Has your expectations perhaps changed, and maybe will around next season?
Say that again, Jamie, that broke up.
That's all right. So next season, are you maybe expecting higher expectations perhaps in European charge after this good start?
Oh, I think the only expectation and pressure that's on me is what I put on myself and the club put on me. Do I expect more of us now going into these next block of games? Yes. Do I expect more from the first part into the second part of the season? Yes. Do I expect more going into the second season of me being here? Yeah, if I'm still in a job, I do, yeah, especially. But I also want to make sure that we grow, and we have to grow in the right way. It has to be sustainable, it has to be progressive, and you can't just turn a team from A to C straight away. You have to make sure you take the right steps and you don't cut any corners. And yeah, we've got work to do to make sure we're progressive and we keep evolving. And in a second season, I would definitely expect more than I would in the first, and we have to make sure that we continue to work towards those ambitions.
Well, hopefully next season you'll be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but for this day you mentioned 7,000 fans are going to be in attendance. So what's your message to them? Is there any songs you'd like to be sung in particular to really build an atmosphere?
Oh, just stick with the team throughout the game, and I know they've done that. They've come out in numbers, home and away. It's been outstanding. Again, on the weekend, they were out singing in terms of the home crowd, and that was really big for me to hear them for the players, no matter if we were up or we were down. And that's the players are going to need that, because the players thrive off it. If they hear the fans singing and pushing them on and cheering them on, you get more of a response. And sometimes in those moments when you're struggling and you're down, you're maybe having to defend more, you're being frustrated, you need the crowd to lift you. And yeah, the players certainly get a buzz from it.